Hey church family, I'm here with Tyler Whitt. Tyler has been interning with us for about a year now, Is that right?
Yeah, about a year.
So he's been sort of like 10-hour internship with our middle schoolers, been doing a whole lot more than 10 hours a week. I got to go several mission trips with him this summer, including one that he led to Louisville for our middle schoolers. Has been doing a fantastic job. Love this guy a bunch. So we have a big middle school. It's growing, and we thought, hey, we really need somebody full-time with an eye on that and really shepherding our middle schoolers and their families. So we think Tyler's the perfect guy for that. So Tyler, I would love just tell our church family a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, a little bit quickly about me. I grew up in Murray. A lot of you probably know my dad, Mark Whitt. You know, he was the campus minister at the BCM.
Wait, your dad's Mark Whitt?
I know, it's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's my claim to fame. But a lot of you probably know my dad. But so I grew up in Murray for a long time, around college students, around ministry. And then whenever I was in middle school, we moved to the Nashville area, to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And so all of middle and high school, I was there. Life moved on, life continued on while I was in Tennessee. And then, time came to think about college and where I wanted to go. And, at first there was a broad landscape of schools I wanted to go to, places I wanted to go to. And then ended up, I applied to one school and came to Murray State. And
shoes up.
Boom, shoes up, that's right. It was just where I wanted to be. It was home. A lot of good people that I knew, and was excited to come back. And so came back for college. So I came into Murray State and was very quickly got involved at Hardin with the college ministry and just with the church as a whole. That kind of led through the process of 4 years of getting more and more connected and serving and all that. And so that's kind of led to, I graduated last May, and so that was a few months ago, graduated. And so that's kind of where we're at. That's the quick life landscape of where I've been from Murray to Nashville to back to Murray. So yeah,
I like that. And a fun fact, you graduated with a nursing degree.
That is true. I am a registered nurse.
Yeah.
NCLEX did it all.
So it makes me feel good about sending my middle schooler to camp. We were actually, I think we were in maybe Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And something happened, and it was like, wait, is there we don't have any, Tyler's a nurse. Just go take care of this. So, it's nice on trips to always have somebody who's a medical professional, and that's a pretty cool gig.
Yeah.
So I love just a little bit about you. Man, I've got to know him for really all 4 years. I feel like right when you came here, we got to be kind of fast friends, got to officiate your wedding, which was pretty awesome. Do you want to tell us about your wife?
Yeah, so my wife, her name's Allie. She's also from the Nashville area. We didn't know each other at that point. She's from Gallatin, Tennessee. She went to Western, so we met whenever we worked camp at Crossings. I know it's pretty scandalous, but so we met when we
Brian Ray, turn it off now.
Sorry, Brian. So we met in the summer of 21, and then we started dating after that summer. And then I guess it was about 2 years after that we got married. So we got married last summer, been married just over a year now. So that's been really, really good. Love her. She's great. She does, it's called ABA therapy. She does therapy for kids with autism. So she's very big focus on kids with special needs, and so that's what she does. So
that's awesome. Does she help with the farm right now on Wednesday?
Yeah, she helps with the farm a lot. She's a buddy. She does different things with the farm. So she's there a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. So a little bit about you. I know a lot of people are thinking hey, is this guy a believer? That's a good question. Love, just tell us about your just how you came to know the Lord.
Yeah. So, obviously growing up with my dad, the gospel was told to me and was made clear from as long as I can remember. But I would say that it became clear to me when I was in 7th grade at a Disciple Now event with our church in Tennessee that, just the weight of sin, that sin was, it's more than just the bad things I've done. It's more than just a wrong decision here or there, but my whole being was covered in sin, and then just that the weight of that and that punishment was death, and there was nothing I could do to get out of that. That was just made clear. The Lord used a leader in my life at that point to just speak truth into my life at that point. And so it was at that time that I kind of gave my life to Christ for the first time, that I said I want to turn away from sin, turn away from the world and follow Jesus. And so that started in middle school. So that's we can get into that, I guess, later of how that kind of stirs a passion for middle schoolers. But so to kind of fast forward more with my testimony, is that in high school, definitely I was definitely following Christ, but there was some things that were in my life that just I didn't realize that were idols in my life, and I really wanted to be pictured as people to look at and be like, man, I want to be like Tyler. And there was times I'd had times where where I really wanted to follow Jesus, I really wanted to do this, but there were some things in my life that I didn't even realize the pride that I had. COVID kind of hit my senior year, so all the things that I was kind of putting a lot of self-worth in, whether that be sports, academics, like all those different things, they kind of just got taken away, and the veil kind of was shown to me. The veil was taken away of like, oh man, all these things I've been putting a lot of worth in should have been going to Christ. And so basically I had the choice there of, do I want to follow Jesus or do I want to go after the world, essentially. And so, that summer and even at the beginning of college, that was kind of a battle in my mind and in my life of, man, how am I truly going to live? And then, and by the grace of God, whenever I came to college, very, very quickly, I got connected with a couple guys in the college ministry. One of them was Trevor Grant, was like one of the first guys who I met, him and Peyton Cadwell. And they quickly got me and a couple other guys that were freshmen that were very much in a similar spiritual spot of trying to choose, like, are we going to live for the world or are we going to live for Christ? And that group came together and just was a very natural group that formed, and we still meet weekly for accountability. Like, that's been going on for over 4 years now, which is pretty special. And something that I don't think a lot of people, even that I know, were able to have. And so it was just totally the Lord's grace that gave me that. And so that fostered a just more and more desire to see for the Word, through the preaching and teaching of you, Brother Ricky, of Chris on Sunday mornings, Tyler Harden in our discipleship group that he led for us, was really just grew a desire for the Word. And it was really truly like where growing in myself, how the Lord grew a desire for the Word, that really changed so much in my life of really being sold out to live for Christ and not the world. And so that was really what happened a lot my freshman year, and it just continued to develop more and more throughout college, and that led into serving in different ways throughout the church, which we'll get into with youth specifically. But that's kind of the landscape of started off in middle school, where that's where I really repented and trusted in Christ. But there was a lot of sin. There was a lot of things I just didn't see, a lot of immaturity, and by no means am I perfect now. But, man, there was just a lot of pride in myself that the Lord has revealed over time that just through the Word, through men and women speaking into my life that are that have helped and brought me along in my walk. So
that's awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
I always love hearing people's story. So this is a middle school position. So that means you'd be with middle schoolers.
6th through 8th grade.
So just want to make sure, like, you know that is the gig. It's middle schooler. So I think everyone's burning question is like, why in the world would you want to do middle school ministry?
That's a great question. Yeah, we love our middle schoolers, but
I love my middle schoolers, but
so kind of to continue, really just as kind of a seamless transition from getting involved with Hardin is. In that time, I started serving the college ministry and seeing, there's a need to serve in the local church specifically. And so found a way to get plugged in was through youth. So I started to serve as like just a Wednesday night impact leader. I was originally with Kreider, with your son's group on Wednesday night. So they were in 8th grade, the first year that I started, or 7th or 8th grade, something like that.
Okay.
Whenever I started serving. And so started serving with that middle school group. Started doing that, getting plugged in with youth ministry, and as college was going on, the Lord had started to grow desires. I don't have a moment where I said, I want to do ministry, I want to do missions or anything along those lines, but I think just by being in the Word, hearing the taught and preached Word of God consistently, the Lord grew that desire for ministry and missions in some sort of way. Never necessarily have like a moment or a specific job or place or people, that I felt called to necessarily. but just a desire to kind of be faithful wherever I was at, and see where the Lord led. And so at that season, it was serving in youth, and that led into eventually meeting with Chase. And Chase asked if, hey, about last August, if would you want to intern with the youth ministry? And again, like that's not something I was like, oh, I want to do youth ministry specifically. But I was like, this is a really good opportunity to be under Chase, under Corey, under Ricky, and be able to learn and see. And so this past year, I started to intern. So that was a lot of teaching Sunday school with youth, meeting with some middle school guys consistently, weekly, and just spending time in various different ways through events and all that happens there. And Lord definitely this past year just grew for me a heart for these middle schoolers specifically, as I spent a lot of time with them. And I think it makes sense when I look back and I was in middle school when I came to know the Lord, and that was a hugely impactful time in my life. There was a lot of transition in my life at that point in middle school, and so seeing how important it is to follow the Lord in that time and set that foundation, how important that was for me, and how important that can be for the middle schoolers at our church. And that's a role that I think can often get neglected. Of that 12 to 14 age gap they're awkward and kind of don't. Sometimes it's like I don't know how to have a conversation with you. But over time, kind of bridging those gaps can be so important. And so the Lord's just kind of grown in me a heart and a desire to spend time with middle schoolers specifically. Youth as a whole, but with a focus on middle school. And I think that's just something that the Lord's done. It's not necessarily that I've always had a love and desire for youth ministry or middle school ministry, but that's just something that the Lord has put on my heart more and more as I've done it. And so, that's kind of the heart and desire behind it.
Yeah, I know I've got 2 middle schoolers, a 6th grader, and an 8th grader, and they both love Tyler. Come home talking about what you teach and what you said, and I'm gonna say, hey, how's Tyler? Oh man, love him, doing great. So I know from a dad, thank you for investing in my middle schoolers. It's really, really cool. And so thinking about middle school, focusing, want to do middle school, maybe speak to the parents a little bit of middle schoolers. Like, what do you hope? Think about our middle school, currently we've got a great thing going. It's not like we have a terrible middle school plan. It's like, I got some really good things. So I guess, what do you kind of envision, hope for, dream about if you were able to kind of have a full-time focus on middle school ministry? What do you hope for the future of middle school ministry here at Hardin?
Yeah, man, I think a lot, my prayer, my desire, my hope for them is very much like what Paul prayed for the Philippians in Philippians 1, that their love may abound, that they may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. And I don't think that doesn't start when they're in college. That doesn't start when they're adults. But I think that starts from the time they're kids, and that should from birth until womb to the tomb. Is that what we say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a huge emphasis is seeing that their love would abound, that they would grow to love those around them in their schools, in their locker rooms, whatever that looks like. But obviously, to do that starts with, first of all, like them coming to a saving faith and knowing Christ. And so I think a vision is having someone, myself, to really detail the gospel to them continually, weekly. That's something I really, really try to hit on basically every Sunday, no matter what we're talking about, whether it's, this semester we're talking about spiritual disciplines. And so in all these, going back to the heart of it, is the gospel, is that we would love Christ. And so first of all, seeing them come to a saving faith, but then knowing that, being converted to Christ is incredible. But Christ doesn't call us to just make converts, but to make disciples, and to see middle schoolers be discipled, through teaching, through preaching, through all those different things, but also just through life on life interaction, through spending time with them, outside of just a Sunday and a Wednesday, having just that freedom to spend time, pour in, organize some more specific discipleship, all of those things. And so really my heart is that they would just be disciples, not just converts, not just people who can check the boxes and be good kids, but that they would just be people who are in love with Christ and what He's done on the cross for us, and that would just permeate every aspect of their life, from home to school to sports to everything. And so that's kind of my heart behind in my prayer for them in this next season.
Yeah, I love that. And you're a Frisbee golf guy?
I am.
Is that right?
Yeah, I like disc golf.
Yeah. So what is disc golf?
Disc golf.
Not Frisbee. Yeah. So I'm not
clearly not a disc golf.
Clearly not a disc golf guy. So I know we've had some conversations about like how do you envision like taking a passion like that and using that with middle school ministry?
Yeah, I mean that's something that was done even when I was like a freshman in college. Like a Logan Elliott was like, "Hey man, come play some disc golf with me."
It's a beautiful impersonation.
It's it's Logan Elliott.
Spot on.
And and disc golf, the best part about it is you're just you throw a disc and then you're just walking until you go to your next one and you're just talking and I remember like conversations with Logan of we'd be just cracking stupid jokes the whole time and then out of nowhere he's like, "So hey man, how's your heart towards the Lord?" But generally those conversations were really good. And so using things like that of, hey, after school let's go play around a disc golf. And obviously for 18 holes we're probably not going to be talking about what'd you read this week, how's your prayer life, all those things. But for 10 minutes of that hour and a half that we're out there, might be able to have some good conversation and see where that goes and just kind of be able to pour in simple ways like that and going to games, just showing that I care about them. So there's lots of various ways that we can do that, but that's just that's kind of just one way that I've thought through that hey, let's go throw some discs and have good conversation. So
I love that. So a little rapid fire, tea or coffee?
Tea, 100%. Hot tea every morning.
Hot tea, okay. Saturday morning, football or soccer?
Soccer, English Premier League soccer, big Manchester United guys. Come on.
You can just vote no, guys. I
was born on the wrong continent. I should be in England right now.
Yeah, so I'd say bigger question would be, you mentioned, you grew up in Kentucky, lived in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so is it like Tennessee or Kentucky? Okay, we're good. All right.
To be clear, my sister's in vet school at UT Knoxville, but I have no connection to UT.
Okay.
She's a UT fan.
Yeah. So cats, what you're saying.
Cats by 90.
Shoes up.
Go
Cats. Yeah, I like that.
That's my allegiance.
Well, hey guys, we hope. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this. We just wanted you. I know a lot of you, especially if you're a parent, Tyler. You've got his emails, helped with sign-ups. I mean, he's doing the job. He led an entire camp to Louisville, had our kids in the city of Louisville sharing the gospel, doing missions. I've seen the guy at work. He does a fantastic job. Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights, man, I can't think of a better guy to do this. And so we just wanted you to get to know him a little bit better. So hopefully you know a little bit more about him. He's going to be around. He'll be kind of hanging out in the foyer around the green wall, even this Sunday. Man, if you'd like any more information about him, please don't hesitate to call any of us at the office, me included. And if you have anything, we can get you in touch with Tyler if you have questions directly for him. So we want to, we met as a staff, we've met as pastors. We would love to bring him on in a full-time middle school director position. So he wouldn't be, he's not going to be a middle school pastor. As you know, we do that through, a pipeline. There'd be, if that comes in the future, that'd be an ordination service, those kind of things. This will be a middle school director role, and he's really directing our middle schoolers, engaging them, teaching them, discipling them, helping with parent issues, those kind of things. That would be his role here. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Appreciate it.
And this is middle school.
Yeah, middle school.
Right, middle school.
I saw it on the job too.
Okay, boom. Then we're all good. Hey, Harden, thanks for tuning in. You're not dismissed. You're sent.